In the dim twilight of eldritch woods, where gnarled oaks whispered secrets older than the regime, the air carried a damp chill that clung to the skin like a lover's reluctant touch. The cave where Thorne Blackwood and his fledgling band of outlaws hid was a sanctuary of sorts, its jagged mouth hidden by thorny brambles and moss. Inside, the flicker of a low fire cast long shadows, warming the faces of the 6 fugitives who sat in a loose circle, their breaths mingling with the scent of pine smoke and the faint, earthy musk of unwashed bodies. A pot of thin stew, rabbit bones and foraged roots, bubbled weakly, its aroma a faint promise of sustenance. The world outside was a medieval dystopia, scarred by the forgotten cataclysms of World War IV, now 5,369 years past, where the corrupt empire and Gaia's twisted priestesses held sway over a land reverted to feudal cruelty. Thorne, lean and weathered from years hunting in these unforgiving wilds, sat sharpening his knife on a whetstone, the rhythmic scrape a counterpoint to the fire's crackle. His dark eyes, haunted by the fresh graves of Alara and their sons, held a quiet fury that needed no words. He glanced at the others, each a fugitive for their own defiance of the Empire's iron grip, or Gaia's corrupted rights, which had once been a celebration of life's raw pleasures but now served the regime's greed for bodies to toil, fight, or breed. The memory of that day still burned, the speaker's desperate flight, his family's attempt to hide him, and the guard's vengeance, Alara's throat slit in a crimson spray, Bram's chest pierced, Finn's skull crushed into the mud. Thorne's hands tightened on the knife, the blade gleaming like his resolve. Silas, a wiry thief with a crooked grin and fingers quick as his tongue, lounged against a stalagmite, picking at his nails with a stolen dagger. His voice, rough from a life scraping by in village alleys, broke the silence. "So, Thorne, ye reckon we just sit here stewing like this muck?" He nodded at the pot, his tone light but probing, like a man testing ice before stepping. "That speaker fella got nabbed, sure, but his words stuck. Folk in the village are a whisperin', taxes, pits, Gaia's lot tackin' more than's right. We gonna do somethin' 'bout it, or just hide like rats." Mara, the archer, sat cross-legged, her bow resting beside her like a trusted lover. Her auburn hair was tied back, revealing a face hardened by loss, her sister's death in a temple right still a raw wound. She stirred the stew with a stick, her voice low, unpolished, carrying the cadence of the fields. "Ain't just whisperin', Silas. I heard old Meg at the market, mutterin' how the speaker was right, 'bout the priestesses. Gaia's supposed to be 'bout life, good harvests, warm beds, babes born from want, not force. But temple bitches, they're sellin' her gifts to lords for power, makin' folk breed like cattle. I'd put an arrow through their hearts, but that'd just bring more guards sniffin'." She glanced at Thorne, her eyes catching the firelight, a flicker of something softer beneath her anger, admiration, maybe, or the stirrings of desire born from shared pain. Garrick, the ex-gladiator, hulked near the cave's entrance, his scarred arms folded, the weight of the pit still heavy in his stance. His voice rumbled like distant thunder, coarse but deliberate. "Gaia ain't the problem. Felt her in the arenas, strength in me blood, fire when I'd crush a man's ribs and hear the crowd roar. Her rights, back when I was a boy, were wild, free. Village folk dance under the moon, share beds with no shame. Now, priestesses pick who fights, who fucks, who dies. Blessed me once after a win, oils, hands all over, promisin' glory if I served the lords. Next day, I'm back in chains. That's the rot we're fightin'." He spat into the fire, the sizzle punctuating his disgust. Vesper, the witch alchemist, sat apart, her delicate fingers grinding herbs into a mortar, the scent of crushed lavender and something sharper, perhaps nightshade, wafting up. Her education, gleaned from forbidden texts in a hidden coven, gave her speech a refined edge, but she softened it here, wary of seeming too lofty. You're all half right, which is to say, half wrong, she said, her voice smooth as silk but with a teasing lilt. Gaia's essence is creation, lust, yes, but also the alchemy of earth and stars. Her rites should birth art, ideas, life unbound by chains. I've brewed elixirs that make lovers see the cosmos in each other's eyes, felt her magic in my veins when I mix potions under moonlight. But the empires turned her into a broodmare for their wars, her priestesses wielding her gifts like whips. We fight to free her true worship, pleasure, not subjugation. She cast a glance at Lear and Kira, a wry smile tugging her lips. Though I suspect you two already practice her rites with enthusiasm. The twins, Lear and Kira, sprawled on a shared fur, their bodies close in a way that hinted at their reckless intimacy, forged in defiance of the temple's rules. Lear, the brasher of the two, grinned, his teeth flashing as he tossed a pebble into the fire. Oi, Vesper, don't go actin' all high and mighty. Gaia's, 'bout the good stuff, sweat, skin, the way a lass moans when ye hit the right spot. Back home, we'd slip into her groves, no priestesses, just us and whoever caught our fancy. Pure, like, burned their idols when they tried forcing us to kneel for sacred couplings. Ain't that what we're after? Tackin' back the real Gaia, not this twisted shite. His hand rested on Kira's knee, casual but possessive, and she laughed, her voice husky, uneducated but sharp. Lear's got the right of it, Kira said, leaning into him, her fingers toying with a braid in her hair. Them priestesses wanted me to lie with some lord's son, said it'd, honor Gaia. Told, to shove it, ended up with a bounty on me head. But the goddess, she's in the way me and Lear move together, or with others when the mood strikes. Free, wild. If we're fightin', it's for that, for folk to choose who they bed, not be bred like pigs for the empire's fields. Her eyes flicked to Silas, a playful challenge. What about you, thief? You in for Gaia's real gifts, or just the loot? Silas chuckled, his grin all teeth and mischief. Oh, I'm devout as they come, love. Gaia's got my prayers if it means a warm bed and a lass who don't mind gettin' dirty. But the empire's fucked it up. Taxes so high I can't afford a proper tumble, and them priestesses hoardin' the best wine and bodies for the lords. I'm with Thorne, hit, where it hurts, take the gold, free their serfs. Maybe sneak a taste of their sacred oils while we're at it. He winked at Mara, who rolled her eyes but couldn't hide the flush creeping up her neck, a spark of attraction kindling in the cave's close quarters. Thorne set his knife down, the scrape of stone silenced. His voice, rough as the bark he'd climbed to escape patrols, carried the weight of his loss. Alara used to pray to Gaia. Not in temples, but in the woods, with flowers she'd pick at dawn. Said the goddess was in the way we'd lie together, laughin', her skin warm as summer. That's what they stole, not just her life, but the joy we had, free from their rules. The speaker saw it too. The empires turned Gaia's gifts into chains, us and her to breed soldiers, workers, sacrifices. We don't fight the goddess, we fight the bastards who've twisted her into a leash. Tomorrow, we hit that patrol. Small step, but it's a start. The talk drifted, not rushed or cutting, but meandering like a river finding its course. Mara leaned closer to Silas, her shoulder brushing his, their banter softening into something warmer. You're a fool, thief, but a fool with a good eye for trouble, she murmured, her fingers grazing his wrist, a quiet promise of later indulgences. Garrick shared a story of a pit fight where Gaia's blessing, real or imagined, kept him alive, his voice softening as he spoke of a lover lost to the temple's demands. Vesper countered with a tale of brewing a potion that made a village festival turn into a night of unbridled passion, before the priestesses shut it down. Lear and Kira, ever irreverent, traded crude jests about the Lord's rumored impotence, their laughter infectious, easing the group's tension. Bet Voss needs 3 priestesses and a gallon o' wine to get it up, Leah sniggered, and Kira added, aye, and then he prays its guys will when it flops. Even Thorne cracked a faint smile, the first since his family's blood stained the earth. As the fire died to embers, the group planned their raid, voices low and unhurried. The patrol, carrying taxes and temple offerings, would pass near dawn, a chance to strike and vanish. Hope stirred in their words, tempered by disparity. They were few, hunted, but bound by a shared dream of a world where Gaia's rights meant freedom, not servitude. Sensual undercurrents wove through the night, Mara and Silas slipping off to a shadowed corner, their muffled gasps a quiet rebellion against the Empire's sterility, Vesper's knowing smile as she bottled her latest brew, its scent promising ecstasy. Outside, the woods whispered of secrets, barbarians watching from the wastes, witches hiding ancient knowledge, and serfs dreaming of defiance. In Eldridge Village, whispers of the speaker's words lingered, some approving his stand, others fearing the Empire's wrath, but all feeling the stir of something new. Lord Voss, in his keep, lounged with a priestess whose silken touch masked her ambition, plotting to crush the fledgling rebels, unaware that Thorne's band was only the beginning of a fire that would burn across the Empire's rotten heart.